Managers are wonderful. Managers are so good at reading documents and understanding community association, doing inspections, covenant enforcement, advising boards, running meetings, understanding Robert's Rules of Orders, so on and so forth. What I think is unfair is also to expect them to know everything about landscaping. And also it's really unfair for them to be expected to know all the different types of construction out there. So what happens? What I've seen historically speaking is that a manager will say, hey, contractor, go bid this fence for me. I need a fence proposal without any information about whether or not it's wood or if it's composite or if it's vinyl. And so what happens is that the contractors, rightfully so, come back with a bid amount that's going to protect themselves. But because there was no information, now all of a sudden there's 3 bids that come in all different ways, and the manager may provide that to the board, and the board's sitting there looking at the stuff going, huh? Why is one $1,000 and the other one $100,000, right? So when all of a sudden we get a ROM, a rough order of magnitude, to understand that this project is going to be a $500,000 project, and we go out and we get the funding in place, just as Ken said, and when we get to the contractor, they know that the money's there to be awarded the project, and they're going to go the extra mile to be awarded the project this time. And we have somebody here that's going to make sure that these projects are going to be apples to apples, overseeing it the whole way. So when we go to a board meeting, we lay it down, and the cost estimates are so close to each other because it's the same material from different contractors, and perhaps there's some variances in there, like a warranty time frame. And so that's going to adjust the cost a little bit. But how much more does that build trust when it comes to getting these jobs done? And I get so excited about that, right? And I think that's where this industry needs to continue to elevate when it comes to the contractor side of things.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It makes the whole process move way more smoothly when it's thought about proactively. And that's another thing, is that you shouldn't be waiting for maintenance needs to become emergency needs. That's not going to help us plan our funding. It's not going to make the costs any cheaper. And it's not going to make the project run any more smoothly. We should be proactively looking at what assets we have on the property that fall under association responsibility and making sure that we're maintaining them throughout their life and not just waiting for them to fall apart and then, oh, this fence completely fell over, we need to rebuild it now. Well, we probably could have saved a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of effort if we had just kept up with the maintenance before it got to the very end.
And so many association board of directors are asking for that. Be proactive, be proactive. We were mismanaged because these things weren't done. Maybe that's half true. Maybe that's 0.25% of the way true. But your management company does not have an open checkbook to go and do things without the permission of the board. It really is incumbent on board members to make decisions. So pull the trigger. If there's one thing that we will ask board members to do, it's be more diligent in pulling the trigger and allowing things to get done. Spend the money to get these projects done. We have in certain cases spent years and years getting more and more bids and being told we're going to wait until something else happens down the line. And it gets to the point, as Ken just said, it's so dilapidated. What would have been a pretty simple repair at one point in time has turned into a complete replacement. And at that point, it's usually a new board of directors because so much time has elapsed. And they may look at the management company and said, well, you mismanaged the project. And to us, there's nothing more frustrating because it was years of labor and work and getting the information and bringing it forward, only to be told by members in the audience and perhaps board members that we're currently servicing that we're going to wait until something else down the line happens. And so pulling the trigger today and getting the job done is super important.
Exactly. And that's not to say that by keeping up with your maintenance, these maintenance projects aren't going to be a large cost. We're not saying that every maintenance need can be maintained for $1,500. There are going to be some projects that need to be maintained and it'll help you in the long term, but it's still going to be a large cost. Painting is a great example. If you're sticking to your normal painting cycle, as you're supposed to be for the life of the buildings, making sure that you're keeping up with it, it's not going to be a cheap project, depending on the size of your community. But it's going to be a lot cheaper in the long run than having to replace the whole exterior of the building because you didn't maintain it over the course of its life.
Without that paint on there, especially in Colorado where elements are so hard on paint, right? If you keep kicking that can down the road, to your point, all of a sudden you got bigger problems.
So it's a siding job and painting rather than just routine painting cycle.
I could talk about this for days and days and days. Obviously, a lot of passion from my perspective on this, and I know yours too. Building trust with boards is something we're certainly exercising on a consistent basis, trying to bring some of these new ways to approach maintenance in a community so you feel more comfortable pulling the trigger, as we were talking about a little bit earlier.